Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. And in just a few minutes, as we do every Wednesday evening, Rich Levinsky is going to be with us talking about consultants in the workplace. He always has some interesting, valuable, in the trenches topics to talk about in the world of consulting. We also want to begin every evening with a moment of gratitude. 10 seconds of being grateful. Go. Think of 3 things that you are grateful for today. It's hard to be upset or mad when you're grateful. Gratitude is one of the most valuable things we can be doing, and it's most often overlooked. And I find uh, getting up every morning and being grateful during the day and going to sleep being grateful makes all the difference in the world. We do every Wednesday evening a discussion of a topic that's current. And I wanted to bring up something that we read about for years and don't always do. And that's that quality managers, quality companies are always interviewing. Always be interviewing. If you're a manager from the first level all the way up to the CEO, you got to always be interviewing. Anytime you get a chance to interview a quality candidate, whether they're looking for a job or not, whether or not you have an opening, doesn't matter, interview them. It can be a casual interview, be a cup of coffee, be a lunch. Doesn't even have to be an interview like, what are you looking for in a job? Most of us only invest time in interviewing when we need somebody. And sometimes most of the clients that we work with are desperate for somebody. So they then spend the time interviewing. They devote time. Most people don't like to interview. They think it's a diversion of their time, and it is. It's a pain. You can't interview while you're doing other things. You have to devote all your time and of the moment to interviewing. It takes concentration. If you're smart, you take notes. It takes effort. You have to be sincerely involved in somebody else. You have to ask good questions. You have to take good notes, as I say. You have to pay attention. It's not something that everybody practices. It's not something that everybody learns to do in graduate school. Most people don't like doing it. There are a lot of reasons of why people don't do it. But there's 1 or 2 real good reasons of why they ought to be doing it all the time. And it boils down to knowing where the good talent is. Sometimes the best talent comes along when you don't expect it, when you don't need it. Doesn't mean you have to hire it right then. Years ago, I had a candidate hired by a company that interviewed him 7 years earlier. He was so good, they remembered him. And 7 years later, when they needed him, they called him back. The hiring authority kept in touch with him, kept track of him. And that's the thing that they remembered. Called him up, called me up, wanted to find out where he was. You find out where trends are going on in your industry, in your profession. You keep in contact with people. Those social contacts, those professional contacts, they become social contacts. Those social contacts and those professional contacts blend together. And they become the same thing. And pretty soon your professional and social contacts are the ones that get you promoted and get you seen and invited to other kinds of social environments and social occasions. And they bleed together. Always be talking to good talent. You got to know where the good talent is. I've found that over the years now that I've been doing this for almost 51 years, or going on my 51st year, that people that kept in touch with each other in the different professions, there are very few of them left. But the groups of them that are together know each other. They've kept in touch with each other. Always be interviewing. Anytime you get a chance to casually meet with somebody, now that doesn't mean you do one a day. I maybe one a month, two a month. It's just good to know who's out there, know who's going to be the coming stars in your profession. If they're younger, then they're going to want to meet with you because they want to learn who the rock stars are in the profession you're in. Those of us that have been around a long time in certain areas and businesses are teachers. Teachers always learn more than the students, but it's always good to pass it along. Always be interviewing. You never know who you're going to run into. Doesn't mean you'll always hire them, but you always gain some knowledge as to who's out there on the forefront of things. And I know a lot of people say, oh, it's a pain. I have to stop what I'm doing. It's not that hard if you make a habit of it. I knew a hiring authority one time. He said, call me anytime you find somebody in my industry that looks like they're a rock star. I'll take them to lunch. Can't hurt to talk. Always learn something from somebody. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashir with the Job Search Solution.